Today we're going to do a sublimation job, but with a twist. We have two races here that we want to cater to. The first race is called the pumpkin run, and for the pumpkin run we have picked a design, with a pumpkin of course, a large design for the front of the shirt, and to give the club that is organizing it some prominence, we put the logo in the neck. Now the twist here is not just the two transfers on the shirt, it's also the fact that we're going to use two transfer machines to apply these two transfers. Well, why so? Well, a large machine of course is needed to make a large transfer. You can't use a small machine for a large transfer. Vice versa, yes you can. The smaller machine, in this case the B250, we're going to use the cap press in order to put the logo in the neck. Why a smaller machine, you say? Can it not be done on the larger? Yes, it can be. But by using a second machine, I save time. Remember that sublimation takes just over a minute to properly transfer. During that time, rather than idling, I can use the next shirt or the previous shirt and put the logo on the neck, and then go from one machine to another on a continuous basis. So let's see how that works out. Okay. So we're ready now for the first shirt of the assembly line. Remember, the large transfer goes in the front, the little logo in the neck. We take the front of the shirt, take the transfer, little tape. The tape is needed so that when the machine opens up, the paper won't move and create a ghost image. To protect the shirt, I use a blowout sheet. To protect the upper casting, I always use a Teflon sheet on the very top. So while this shirt is going, this is the very first shirt in the assembly line. As this shirt now comes off, I'm going to turn it around, place it on the cap press, and do the neck logo on the cap press. But before I do that, I will reload the 650, the larger press, with the next shirt and start that, so that I save the time that I would normally idle while standing here and talking to you, and doing this on a continuous basis. So we got a couple of seconds to go. I take the Teflon sheet off, the blowout sheet off. Now to take the transfer off, I'll make sure I don't move the paper, so I hold the paper down, pick it up at the back because it's taped on the front, and almost peel it off that way. The transfer is completely transferred. That can no longer be used. The transfer is done. The shirt is done on the front, just like I anticipated. I'm going to put the logo in the back. I'll put the shirt on the B250, ready for the next shirt. I then take the next shirt, put it on the large heat press, center it from the neck, take the next transfer, transfer down, heat tape on the top, blowout sheet on the top to protect the shirt, Teflon sheet on top to protect the upper platen. Ready to go. And here goes the next one. Meanwhile, now we go back to the other shirt that is prepared to put the logo in the neck. The little tag helps me to register the shirt right in the middle of the lower platen. I've already prepared the lower platen, protected with a little Teflon sheet. Centered. Take the logo. Lay the logo straight in the back using the little tag label as my registration mark. A little heat tape. Now here I don't have to lay anything on top because the machine comes with a Teflon protection sheet that at the same time holds down the transfer. So press it down and the minute 15 will start here. Meanwhile, I'll go back to this machine. We got 15 more seconds to go. So now this way I can work on a continuous basis. The machine will here open up, I will reload it and then go back to the previous machine to take the neck label off. Ready? Teflon sheet off. Blowout sheet off. Peel the transfer off. Shirt is ready for the neck. This one got 30 more seconds to go. I load enough time to load the next shirt. Center it. Transfer. Tape. That one is ready. Open it up. Peel the transfer off. And that shirt is ready. This one I had prepared. This one goes in the neck. Over here. This transfer is centered. Blowout sheet on top. Teflon sheet on top. Back here, and this shirt is now lined up to be the next for the logo. Logo goes on. Tape goes on. Centered. Yes. Close. 40 more seconds to go. Ready to prepare the next shirt. Take the next shirt off. And we're ready for this one to open, etc., etc. So that way you can continuously work one machine, go to the next machine for the reverse of the shirt, and without idling continue your production and go about twice the speed as you normally would go on one machine. Heat presses like clamshells do one shirt at a time. How do you overcome that need, that requirement of time? Or how do you shrink the time in the case of a heat press? Well, that's what we're going to show you here today. With this new press, our Sidekick 20, we're going to show how you can do a sublimation project like about 100 shirts for a running club that we do here today. How can you do sublimation and not waste all that time in between waiting, watch the grass grow and the paint dry. So here's how we go. We have, with this Sidekick, two plates, one side by side, one upper casting, that moves on a rail left to right. So what we're going to show you is how you can do a production line doing one side of the shirt on one plate, turning it around, do the other side of the shirt on the other plate, and so on, with one shirt in between on an ongoing basis without wasting too much time. So here we go. So here we do the back of the shirts, here we do the fronts of the shirts, and we're going to move the shirts from right to left. All the backs here, all the fronts here, to make it easy to keep track of where we are in the process and what we're doing at any given time. So the backs of the shirt here, I got the back prepared, the transfer's on, so 1 minute 15 seconds, 395 degrees, pressure medium. 1 minute 15. Now in other cases I would stand here, wait for 1 minute 15 until this is done, turn the shirt to the other shirt, wait for another minute 15, etc. times 100 times 2. So here, now I can continue, go to the other, this one is done. This one I did the back of previously on that side, so now I'm going to do the front. Front of the shirt, I line up the transfer. Now on this ruler I made special marks so I immediately know how far from the top I have to lay this transfer make it easy and quick for me, I line up the transfer to make sure it's straight, right in the middle. Tape the transfer down so it doesn't come off when I open the press and create a ghost image. I got 7 seconds left. How about that? Instead of 1:15. Ready? Move over. Here we did the back. That back is done. We lay it to the side. We'll do that next. When this one is done, we'll do the front on this side. Meanwhile, I take the next shirt and do the back of this shirt. As you see, very little time is wasted. Constantly we move from left to right, do one transfer here, the other transfer on the other side, and that overcomes the downside of sublimation, which is watching grass grow. 30 seconds left. So you get better at this as you do it, but you see how fewer and fewer seconds, less and less time is wasted in between the transfers. And you can actually go on a constant basis doing this shirt virtually in half the time as you would if you had just one head, one lower, and one standard heat press. The other thing you will notice is how working on a sidekick like this, unlike a clamshell, allows me to look down on the project, which in this case, because we're talking about a circular transfer, is hard to line up. So it really helps if you can lean over the project and line up this text just right so that transfer is not crooked. As you see, I'm working also with additional accessories other than the sidekick itself. We have pad protectors, both on the bottom and on the top of the plate, to protect any sublimation gases to either penetrate into the pad, which would be devastating because it would transfer on all the following shirts. A pad protector for the top so that any gases don't stick to the top and then transfer again onto the next shirt. The other thing you may have noticed is how I put the shirt over the lower. Demonstrate that now. Because of the construction of the sidekick, it has a little splitter stand underneath, which allows me to pull the shirt completely through to the other side without the shirt ruffling up and preventing me from doing a proper transfer. That way the shirt goes all the way back without puckering up. And that's the way you do 100 shirts sublimation without wasting much time. So as you see, the downside of sublimation, meaning all that weight while you're idling, you can't really go and do something else for a couple of seconds and then come back. All that idling is now shrunk because of the dual heads and the fact that you can work inline, front, back, or back, front, one after the other without wasting time.